Hello again. This is Joanne Klink from the ProMark Insurance Agency. Thanks for stopping by to learn more about property insurance. So I think it's important to talk about the various coverages that you would get and what you may need. Not all dance studios own buildings. They usually are a tenant in a strip plaza, or some work out of their home and have a separate area. Also, just a standalone building, but they don't own it. If you do own it, a lot of times the individual dance studio owner may own the building and lease it over to the dance studio. It's real important under your building insurance to know the name that's going to be on the deed, because you want to make sure that the additional insured is listed on that policy. If you want to combine the dance studio with the building insurance, you want to make sure that the deed name is included. Your business personal property, whether you are a building owner or you actually are a tenant, you're going to have contents within that building, within your space that you lease. So what types of property are you going to have? It's the mirrors, the floors, the bars. You may have inventory for sales of apparel, tables and chairs. In the waiting room could be paintings on the walls. All things need to be considered. One really good way of saving premium is to know any of your improvements and betterments. If you have spent money as a tenant to put permanent fixtures into a studio space and something happens and you can't take them with you when you leave, you're going to want to insure those in the event of any damage. Because if there is a property loss, you're going to want to replace the fixtures, those nice floors, and whatever else is permanently part of that space. Equipment breakdown is something many leases are requiring the tenants to carry insurance. So watch your leases and see if they're making you responsible for the heating and air conditioning equipment. With equipment breakdown being on a policy, you will also have coverage for breakdown of your own computers for mechanical breakdown, especially with arcing and maybe lightning strikes that could damage your computers. Glass is something too that might be very important to insure and a part of your lease. So check your lease. Sometimes you're responsible for the plate glass. If it's not on your insurance policy, you would have to pay out of your own pocket if that's something that's in your lease. Property policies do include loss of business income, including tuition fees. One thing important to know, especially with COVID, there is no coverage for business income if it's a result of apparel that's excluded on a policy. With COVID, virus and bacteria is excluded. So there was no coverage, unfortunately, for the dance studios for that lost income because of being shut down for COVID. Crime insurance is another area you may want to consider having on your policy. Money and securities, driving to and from the bank, taking in money from the dance studio owners. If you're taking in checks, that's part of the securities. Employee dishonesty, you can even have coverage on an employee may take money out of your till, which is something you maybe don't know is happening, or you want to make sure that you protect yourself so it doesn't happen, or you have coverage in the event it does. So you have a loss. How is your property valued? Most insurance policies, including ours, are on a replacement cost basis. So when we ask you for what your values are, we like to tell you, give us the cost to replace, because in the event of a loss, you're going to want new floors, new draperies, whatever it might be. So we don't want depreciated values. We're looking for you to give us the replacement values. We want to make sure you're made whole if you have a serious claim. And that's it for property, so stay tuned for the next video. Thanks again for stopping by.